Some games stay in the heart, somehow managing to capture you and be remembered forever. And they're not always the games everyone talks about. In fact, sometimes they are the ones that are even forgotten. In my case, it was Mirror's Edge, a first-person adventure that tells the story of fate. A girl raised in a dystopian world. Despite the modern technology and the facade of collective well-being, social distinction between the rich and the poor are becoming more pronounced, and a police state suppress revolts with violence. Fate is a runner who tried to throw a wrench in the works of the powerful, working for a group of rebels who use parkour as their weapon to escape during acrobatic chases among the skyscrapers of a sterile-looking city, where everyone follow a daily routine that imprisons them without the need for cells. It's against these powers that Fate fights while searching for her sister. And this is definitely the game that the folks at Joyway took inspiration from, a development team that surprises with each new title. Despite their skill in borrowing from other games, just to mention one, Doom, which serves as an inspiration for their That Hook, they still managed to create titles that have their personality, albeit with a hint for something already seen. Get ready to run and jump on the rooftop of a high skyscrapers and face enemies in acrobatic combats in Stride Fates. Developed by Joyway and released in November 9th on Quest. Watch the video until the end because this is the review of Stride Fates.
Nicholas, I'm Elizabeth.
Nick is a strider who tried to throw a wrench in the works of the powerful, working for a group of rebels who use parkour as their weapon to escape during acrobatic chases among the skyscrapers of a sterile-looking city, where everyone follow a daily routine that imprisoned them without the need for a cell. It's against these powers that Nick fights while searching for his brother. Yes, I know you have already heard something similar somewhere, but with Joyway there is always this sense of déjà vu, and yet it's still fun and they manage to surprise, even though what they do is to revisit an existing title, including the story.
Jump over the obstacle.
Fortunately, Stride Fates is not just a copy of something already seen, but a reworking that brings out the hidden potential of the work it's based on, and does so through virtual reality. Games like Doom and Mirror's Edge, in fact, are squeezed to the maximum of their abilities by placing the player at the center of the action. Now you can perform the actions of those epic games in the first person and with your own body, given the physicality required to play. In Stride Fates, to run and jump, you have to move your arms, lean your body to run on walls, crouch to slide while running, and physically movement is a constant because you climb and fight continuously, mostly at very close range with the enemies. That's not all. During gameplay, you will also be faced with some puzzles to solve, such as different ways to unlock doors and computer systems. Sometimes you'll have to rebuild a cube by putting the pieces together, other times you'll have to carry an electric signal from one point to another. At other times you will enter a kind of mental journey thanks to a cybernetic implant in your head that allow you to take on the human form of the hacking system itself. Traveling a path full of obstacles and virtual enemies, you will manage to get around the block. And again, there are sections where you can proceed silently and stealthily, adopting a stealth style, and other sections where you can advance with your weapons drawn, even facing bosses. To be improved are the climbing sections, which suffer from imprecise mechanics that often lead to wall penetration and loss of grip, resulting in fatal falls from skyscrapers. Small imperfections that have likely been resolved while I'm talking, just like the inaccuracy of weapon aiming, which tends to veer too far to the right, forcing you to compensate by slightly rotating your wrist to the opposite side.
I'll provide you with more details after the mission.
I've stopped many times on the rooftops of buildings to observe the environment and look around. Towering skyscrapers full of lights and reflective windows, as well as dilapidated and ruined neighborhoods or buildings with Oriental-style domes and super technological laboratories. In Stride Fates, the variety of environment is one of those elements that set Joyway's works apart from the original work, in this case Mirror's Edge, which always only show a city immersed in white and full of glares just to emphasize the parkour elements scattered throughout the game world.
Many have been killed by skulls, but
If you run straight to the end of the game, Stride Fates last about 5 hours. That will be already a good duration for a physical game like this. Yet Joyway wanted to offer more. Level design offer for a different approaches and path, the more direct and action-oriented, or the one for bypassing obstacles and passing unnoticed. A weapon enhancement system to increase precision, number of shots, and damage inflicted through the enhancement packs scattered throughout all game levels, which encourages players to explore if they want to improve their arsenal, which is not necessary given the game's good challenge balance. All additions that can be extend the duration up to 8 hours.
Lisa, can you tell me about that piece of steel in my head?
From the very first look, Stride Fates surprised me with its graphic complexity, even in the standalone version on Quest 3. Environments rich in detail, careful details of the models of the various characters, lights and glows, metal and reflective surfaces, and high quality texture. The level of detail on the weapons is astonishing, reflecting ambient light and showing that typical brushed effect. From a graphical point of view, it's a perfect job.
I'm so glad you're joining us.
Stride Fates is the Mirror's Edge in VR we all was waiting for. And while it's strongly inspired by this title to the point of looking a copy, it cannot be considered a defect or a lack of ideas on Joyway's part. Instead, it's a homage to a classic that seemed an improved version in VR. Among the strength, a graphic department well cared for, even in the Quest version, a wide choice of action and approaches to the environment and the enemies, more than sufficient duration for this type of game, extendable at the player's choice. Among the flaws, some uncertainty in the aiming mechanics of weapons and climbing, which can be resolved post-launch. The story is entirely similar to that of Mirror's Edge, changing character's name and some situations. In combat, the effectiveness of fists is lacking and there is no kicking. I will leave you with a few seconds of Stride Fates gameplay. You can purchase it with a 25% discount using my link in the first comment. Thanks for watching all the way through. Like, subscribe and keep following. From Ben it's all. See you soon. And greetings, Riff Raff.
Why would the Zeus developers unleash their drones on the locals?
I don't believe it's true. It is someone from the slums. Must be involved or don't you dare. It's public property.
I don't care. I've always dreamed of being like the action movie heroes. There are the skulls all over the place. They reconfigured the drones too?
The signal was coming from a portable device in one of the offices. Look for that device.
Heading out!